Hey everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith's Print and Pray Shop, and I've got a new Traveler's Notebook journaling video for you today. So today I am going to be using one of the new Better Together releases from the Print and Pray Shop. I'm using Taylor's set here, and I've already cut into it and used it a little bit and wanted to share a fun way to make some more space in a traveler's notebook. So I'm journaling some sermon notes here, and this is just the first half of my notes. I used Taylor's patterned paper over here, and I want to finish my notes on the next spread here, but I know I'm probably going to need some additional room, so I'll show you how I create a tip-in in order to accommodate some extra notes and things like that. My tip-in is going to be made from patterned paper, and I love the patterns that Taylor created in this month's release. And so these were two that I wanted to choose from, and this is the size that they would normally print out. I printed mine on white cardstock. This is the size they would normally print out if you just downloaded them and opened them and printed them. But it's not quite long enough to fit inside my traveler's notebook as is. So I just went into Photoshop. You could edit them in whatever program you have available to you, and I just made them a little larger in scale. So you can see here, this is the sheet I'll use, not the whole piece, obviously, because that's too large, but you can see that the scale of the polka dots is a little bigger on the one that I stretched out in Photoshop. And then the same thing with this really fun, colorful plaid. So I'm going to go ahead and open my notebook, flip to my notes, and we'll get started. I also have some alpha stickers that coordinate with Taylor's printables that I used in my previous page, and then I pulled these pepper alpha stamps from the Illustrated Faith shop because I thought they were a great neutral and a great size to accommodate lots of stamping in my TN. Okay, so in my traveler's notebook here you can see my very first entry, and then on the back I'm kind of doing a deep dive. So the sermon was talking about 6 areas of transformation in the Christian life, and I wanted to look specifically at some of the habits that were mentioned, so I looked them up and I'm just kind of jotting down what I noted about them here. And so I'm starting by trimming my patterned paper with my paper trimmer. You could easily use your scissors if you didn't have a trimmer. And then I'm just lining it up with the paper in the notebook and marking it with a pencil just to note where my cut lines are. Now I don't want to take the patterned paper all the way to the inside of the binding. I want to leave room for a tab so that you have something to hold on to open it. So I used my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch to punch some really fun contrasting patterned paper, and then I use that as a template to make sure that I had enough room to accommodate the tab. So if you want to try something similar in your notebook, here are the dimensions. It's 3 3/4 by 8 1/4. That's what you want to trim the paper size to. And then you could use anything to adhere the pages together. I'm going to use some scraps from my sticker paper here. This is an area that nothing printed on, and so I'm just going to utilize that. You could very easily, though, use washi tape or scotch tape or anything that you have. So to make it easy to handle, I'm kind of bending back all of the pages behind it and then lining up the patterned paper with the notebook paper and leaving just the slightest space in between them. I'm zooming in here so you can see a little bit better that they're not touching when I'm taping them together. There's just a little teeny tiny gap. So this piece of tape isn't long enough. That's no problem. I'm going to go back and reinforce it with some extra tape, and then when I put my elements down, the printable elements, I'm going to overlap these 2 pages, and that will help reinforce the tip in there. So I want to have a double-sided tab for my page, and so I'll go ahead and adhere the tab to the outside of the patterned paper, and then just use my tape runner to adhere the other side. And then later on, I'll put a piece of word fetty on there, and it's super fun. So now I've got 3 panels for journaling instead of 2. This is going to be great for all of these extra notes. So first, I'm going to start by taking Taylor's pieces that I have pre-cut and placing them around the devotional or the booklet. So there was one title that she included that said Cultivate Faithfulness, and I kind of chopped that up. I'm going to customize it using some alpha stickers here, and I'm going to spell out the phrase Cultivate New Habits. And then I'm using the journaling box for a place to record my response at the very end. I kind of have an idea of where I want to be stamping and where I want all of my journaling to live, and so I'm putting down the principal elements first so that I don't run out of room. So there are 9, I think, kind of like spiritual disciplines, let's call them, habits rather, that Jesus observed. And I'm just kind of noting what I learned about them here. So I am using the Pepper Alpha stamp, and I'm lining up all of the letters on my stamp block and then stamping them down and then writing my journaling around each of these kind of like subtitles in my notebook. So we've got silence, solitude, fasting, secrecy, prayer, submission, humility, obedience, and sacrifice. I didn't want to make you watch me write all of this stuff, so I'm going to go back off camera and fill in the rest of it. But I added a date stamp, piece of wordfetti to my punch here, and then I'm just showing you here. I'm going to fill in some space with some extra printables, as you can see here in my finished project. And that is going to do it for me. If you are interested in picking up Taylor's set, I've got it linked down in the video description below, along with those super cute Pepper Alpha stamps that are also in the Illustrated Faith shop. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you soon.